Heteroflexible, a straight person with incredible flexibility, or something else? Let's find out. What does heteroflexible mean? The definition of the term is a person who engages in minimal homosexual acts, while generally identifying as heterosexual. Anybody get that? Let's break it down and try it again. It basically means a person is mostly straight, but occasionally likes the same sex. This isn't to be confused with bi-curiosity or bisexuality. Those two orientations have an expressed interest and strong desire to engage in sexual behavior with the same sex. A heteroflexible person doesn't necessarily have the same desire to experiment on a regular basis. Heteroflexible people in general fully identify as a straight person. An example of this in real life would be a couple finding another woman or man to have a threesome. The person of the same sex within the threesome does not necessarily have to be bisexual. While the common phrase of bisexual until graduation is considered offensive, heteroflexibility is generally viewed positively and is often a self-applied label. History lesson time. In the 60s and 70s, sexual identity was defined with much more fluidity, but by the 80s and 90s, clear defined sexual orientations were considered more acceptable. Today, scientists are noticing a return of flexible sexualities, notably in the case of what it means to be heterosexual. Social scientists Carrillo and Hoffman have seen that some men who have occasional sex with other men still see themselves as heterosexual. They behave with masculinity while not necessarily being attracted to men. In addition, some men in the study stated that sex with men is a result of female unavailability or perversion, and that's their reason for being heteroflexible. The men in the study viewed sexual attraction as a combination of physical and emotional attraction. They claim that while they feel romantically, physically, and emotionally attracted to women, their attraction to men is purely to have some kind of sexual pleasure, and lacking any emotional connection. Even more surprising, some of these heteroflexible men do not find other men to be handsome or attractive themselves, but say that they find their private parts attractive. Side note, most women aren't as attracted to them, so some men might want to stop trying to turn them on by sending them a picture of it. Overall, heteroflexible men interpret their sexual practices with women to be more important than their sexual encounters with men. Unfortunately, in other cases of heteroflexibility, some men and women who experience same-sex encounters still identify as heterosexual to avoid the negative social consequences that come with identifying as a member of the LGBT community. How many heteroflexibles are out there? When given the choice to select a term that best describes their sexual feelings, more people are beginning to identify as mostly or predominantly heterosexual. 14 out of 160 men interviewed for a study in 2008 reported having some same-sex attractions. The majority had these feelings since high school. A few others developed them more recently. Findings from the National Survey of Family Growth Data from 2011 to 2015 revealed another insight into how much same-sex attraction and behavior can be accounted for by heterosexually identifying people. They found that 61.9% of women and 59% of men who were reported to have same-sex attractions identified as heterosexual. Similarly, 65.2% of women and 43.4% of men who have engaged in sexual encounters with the same sex identified as heterosexual. So feel free to wave your heteroflexible flag in the air if you identify as one. Do you think sexuality is fluid? Discuss in the comments. We hope you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thanks for watching. This is Top Tips, tipping you off.